year, obviously, you got to play against Maryland.
Yep.
What do you remember about that week, that game?
Obviously remember just like the news of finding out that I was going to play, and obviously not for necessarily the reason that I always dreamt of, making my first start, and I didn't want that to be because Mitch had a concussion and all that, but just those memories and those emotions and talking to my family and close friends of mine and those that have been with me through the whole journey of those 4 years, and just seeing their happiness and their excitement, and then just going through the week and getting to prepare again and getting ready to play and knowing I was going to play was just kind of like a comfort feeling, and then obviously just going through the game and having all those emotions and coming out with, it was our first Big Ten win of the year, and I think it was a game just as a team that we really got back on track, and it was just a great experience overall.
What did it mean to win that game?
It was a lot. Obviously, we lost a couple tough ones. We went to Penn State, and we're in every position to finish that game off and lost in overtime, and then had Iowa at home and had every position to win that game too, and couldn't finish in the fourth quarter there. And the team was a little deflated, I think, just with losing two nail-biters like that and games that we felt that we should have won if we could have played a little bit better. So just getting back on track, and I can't remember exactly how many we won in a row after that, but just a good team win and really got us going again. So,
how would you describe you as a quarterback going into that game, and then you after now having 4 starts post that?
Well, I think just my skill level, my development, knowing defenses, how to prepare to play defenses, how to study the game has improved a lot. And then just experience. That being my first really true experience, starting a game, playing meaningful time in a game, and kind of realizing that, hey, this really is just like practice, that was the biggest thing. And then now obviously moving through a whole off season and learning another offense, adapting to new coaches, but everything that now I've learned from Coach Fleck, Coach Soraka, everybody else that I've learned from has really just helped with all that film study, preparation, all that kind of stuff. I think I'm more kind of fine-tuned on little things now. I think I've developed in the weight room from Coach Nickel and his staff. But I don't think there's a huge difference necessarily in just straight skill level. I'd say, from where I was whenever that October of 2016 now to end of September 2017. But I think my knowledge and preparation and all that has taken huge strides.
What's your nerves? Can you compare how nervous you were that first game to how you'll be a year later?
Well, actually, kind of that game, I was pretty nervous just throughout the week, and kind of once we got out to Maryland, the nerves really started hitting, and then we got to the stadium and started warming up and doing all that, and they kind of went away. And the one thing that I needed to happen was I needed to get hit again. It had been really since my last high school game that I'd truly taken a full live hit, and I had offensive linemen being like, well, we're not going to let you get hit and all that stuff. But I think that had a lot to do with it. And then I remember making a throw to Rashad at maybe midway through the first quarter of that game, and big play kind of got us onto their side of the field. And when that play happened, I was like, this is just like, it's just practice. I'm out here with my guys that I've been doing this for 4 years now, and it is what it is. And every game, I think everybody should have a little bit of nerves, because that just shows that you care. I'm going to be just as nervous as I was then as I'm going to be this week, just because I care and want so badly for us to play well, perform well, and come out with a win. But it's not nerves that really affect me too much.
You said prior to that first hit that you got, you had been since high school. Do you remember, did it feel different in terms of a Big Ten defender kind of hitting you as opposed to a high school player? Or do you remember kind of what went through your mind? Or?
I remember there being a couple hits. It wasn't necessarily the first one. I remember a couple there where I kind of was in the pocket and took a big blow after throwing it that I was kind of like, okay, this is the Big Ten now. But it wasn't anything that really blew me away. I hadn't played much since high school, but my body developed a ton I was 30 pounds heavier than I was when I first walked in here, and probably even 35, 40 pounds heavier than I was when I played my last high school football game. So just physically, I was ready for that to happen.
Or do you feel have a better time or a better sense of how much time you have in the pocket, just the clock in your head going up now than the first time you did that day?
I think a little bit. I think not necessarily the timing part of it, but the ability to move within the pocket and do everything I can to move but not have to escape out of it is something that I've learned a lot from Coach Rocca about. It's something that we watch on film and look for areas. He talks about finding our place to stake our ground. We don't need to – I want to do everything I can to stay in the pocket and deliver a throw from the pocket. Obviously, if I need to get out of the pocket, I will, and need to throw the ball away or find a guy in a scramble drill. But I think finding just that little movement that you can make that's going to buy you another half second or even full second is really a small thing that a lot of people don't notice quarterbacks doing. So I think that's one thing I've grown a lot with Coach Rocca and just learning from him.
How much has that contributed to only having one sack in 3 games?
A lot. And I mean, that sack's kind of it was on a naked rollout, and Middle Tennessee kind of had the exact perfect play developed there for the play that we were running. Those guys are doing a great job, and they've come a long, long way since where some of those guys were a year ago, but even from the beginning of fall camp, going back to spring ball. You look at guys like Donnell Green, who he was making his first start when we played Maryland a year ago, and the strides that he has taken over the last year are incredible, and Coach talks a lot about. He's probably one of the guys that you would talk about in this program now who's changed his life the most from the time that Coach has gotten here to now. And he's in the position to be a big-time football player for years to come, and that's all just a credit to how hard they've worked and how badly they want to succeed as well.
How helpful was the bye week for the bodies and also for showing up things in practice?
Yeah, very helpful, just to get a little bit of rest, but we still got a lot of work in. And it was going into the bye week, we knew that this was a time, and with just all the inexperience that we have, it couldn't be, we're going to rest for a week and get our legs back. We had to take advantage of how, the time we had off, and we needed to get better. Like Coach said, we took a day that was just straight individual and skill development, and then we were able to go a little bit Minnesota versus Minnesota and just get full speed, which is always helpful going against Coach Smith's defense and John and Steve and those guys. I don't enjoy doing it, but I think it makes us better. And then we were able to start, our Maryland prep, and I think getting a few extra days to get ahead on that, whether it be an extra day of practice or a little bit more film studying, really helped the team a lot.
Ryder, after 3 games, where would you say your confidence has grown the most, in what area?
I think just the ability to get out there and do it. Going into Buffalo, I'd played in 1 game, and my self-confidence was there, but knowing that I'm going to go out there and do it on the big stage, I still needed to show myself, and go and do that in front of all my teammates. And there's a lot of new guys that haven't been here, obviously, with everything that's gone on in the past. And I think just my ability and knowing the offense, I've known that, I was able to get that pretty quickly after Coach Rocca got here. And but just my ability and knowing that I'm going to continue to get better, and just the confidence in myself and knowing that I can go out there and do it when the lights are on.
What Tyler's done so far is going to draw a lot of attention from defense coordinators.
Yeah.
Where are you at with your other receiving options, just your comfort level and time?
I'm totally comfortable with them. We've been working since January, and you look at guys like Rashad, Demetrius, I haven't had a ton of time with, but everybody's seeing the attention that he's got from Coach and some of the things I've said about the way that he works and his ability. Guys like Philip Howard, who is a redshirt freshman, but we're going to need him to start making some plays. And it's total belief in all those guys. And a guy like Eric Carter, we've been here for 5 years now, and I feel like I can throw him the ball with my eyes closed. And but there's no sense of like, oh, Tyler's been the only one to truly come out, put up some big numbers and make some big plays. Those guys are ready to do it. now we just got to go out there and take advantage of the opportunities when they come.
Have players been discussing the protests in the NFL and President Trump's statements?
Not as much. Like Coach said, we've had discussions as a full team back in the spring when he got here, and it's a totally open room. We want to bring those issues and truly, we want to embrace them. We want to help guys learn more about, what's going on and all that. But I think kind of what Coach said describes it perfectly. And, we're all Americans, and we just want this place to be as good as it can be, and we're all striving to make it better each day.
Connor, a couple weeks now as the starting quarterback, you had the bye week. When you walk around campus, when you're out to eat or something, do you notice a little difference, a little more attention, things like that are coming?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't have to walk around campus much. I've got, being in grad school now, I've got a little bit lighter of a load school-wise, but my one class I do, I'm getting comments from my professor, and being in grad school, it's kind of older classmates that I have, and they're a little bit more, they've got little kids that know and stuff, so they've got some questions, but it hasn't been too much yet. More so it's now, people that I went to high school with, and just so much more attention from that, and them being really excited for me and putting stuff out on social media and all that. But it's something that, and it is what it is, and I don't know. There hasn't been much that changed, I'd say, but I'm sure it'll get a little bit more now as we go into Big Ten, and hopefully we keep having the success we've had and keep this thing rolling.
Connor, can you just tell me a bit about Seth Green and maybe your relationship with him and what type of player he is?
So I actually got to know Seth a little bit when he was summer. So it would have been summer of me going in my senior year of high school, and he was thinking about coming to Crean-Durham Hall, and got to know him. He'd come over and throw with us a little bit, and got to know him, and he's got a couple of twin younger brothers now that are getting pretty massive, I think. And so I've known him, and obviously our relationship's grown a ton since he got here a year and a half ago, but he's got all the skills in the world, and he's learning a ton every single day. And now with him getting more reps in practice, and you've seen him take a huge step developmentally just from Tuesday of Middle Tennessee week to now. You've seen him change a ton. So I think just throughout the year, the more reps he gets and the more he's able to learn, the better he's going to continue to get.
Did you watch much Big Ten action on your bye week?
Yeah, I did.
Or did you watch this, hey, I might face this defense, I'll take it this week?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Obviously, we don't get to just watch football. Even on Sundays, we're in here learning from the game, getting lifts in, getting recovery in. So personally, I watch, whether it be the Thursday night game, the Monday night game, whenever it may be, I watch football as much as I can because that's what I do in high school. I'd sit there, play Friday night, come home, wake up Saturday, watch games all day long, wake up Sunday, do the same thing. So, but it is a little bit different now because, being able to watch the Maryland game and just kind of see how that goes. Then obviously the Iowa-Penn State game was a incredible game to watch, and just with how intense that was, you almost catch yourself watching it a little bit more as just a football fan than me trying to see what the two teams are doing, as a competitor with them. But yeah, a little bit of both, I'd say. But it was an awesome weekend to just sit back and watch some football.
Connor, I know it was 50 years ago, but what do you know about the 1967 team and them coming here this weekend?
I honestly don't know a ton, but I know they're the last team to reach that goal that every team since then has been trying to accomplish. And like Coach said, we're incredibly grateful to have them come here, and we want to be able to show them everything that we've done for the last 8 months and what we're doing our best to make this program back into. And hopefully we're able to do that Saturday and able to show them that this program's taken the steps to get back to how it was back in the 60s when they were winning championships.
Connor,
This will be our last one for Connor. Go ahead, Dave.
what would your reaction be if you were a high schoschool player and a coach came in on a helicopter?
I saw that on Twitter and I thought that was pretty crazy. But if anything, it's going to show how important it is for him to be at that game, because that's obviously a pretty big investment by the athletic department to allow for that to happen for recruiting purposes. And if I don't know if he was going from Edina to Lakeville or necessarily what it was, but for those kids that he was out recruiting, it would show how important they are to him and how badly he wants them to be Gophers. And it's different, obviously, but that's what we talk about. We're going to be different to get where we want to get to, whether that be in school, football, recruiting, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, we got one more from Mike Grimm.
What do you see from the Maryland defense?
A lot of guys back. Just watching film, it kind of brings back, memories from the game and such. But they play incredibly hard. They had a tough one. They were put in some very tough positions playing Central Florida last week, short fields and such. But they play incredibly hard. They got some guys that can really, they can hit. Then they got guys in the back that can cover really well. So just like every week, we got to be ready to play our best football because that's what we need to do to win. And I thought we did that this morning in our first practice, getting ready for the game, and just going to continue to do that for the rest of the week. Thanks, guys.